This podcast is a proud member of Pod Nation Media Network. Are you tired of the coffee crash? Still jittery an hour after your morning cup of coffee? Listen, I used to drink 5, 6, 7 cups a day to just keep going. The anxiety, the stomach pains, the afternoon crash, it was brutal. Then I discovered Rise Coffee, and everything changed. Rise has less than half the caffeine as regular coffee, but here's the magic. It contains 6 organic mushrooms, including cordyceps, lion's mane, and others that naturally sustain your energy without the jitters or crash. We're talking sharper focus, immune support, better gut health, and calm, sustained energy that lasts all day. Plus, it's organic, vegan, and has 0 added sugars. Unlike other mushroom coffees, Rise is USA grown in California. A full spectrum of mushrooms per serving that actually works. Here at Pod Nation, we only partner with brands we actually believe in. And Rise Coffee is the real deal. Head to risesuperfoods.com and use promo code PODNA15 for 15% off your order. That's PODNA 15 for 15% off. Ditch the crash. Fuel your day the right way with Rise Coffee.
I see ghosts, specters all around me. Living in stock, blazing the dark. One by one, pictures gather around me. Where those moonflowers used to rust no more. Specters gather around here, living in stock, blazing the dark. Night by night, stare into the black where moonflowers used to grow.
Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while since I've seen you. I'm glad to be back in front of your screens. Welcome to Paranormal New Normal. And we are back again to try to, make life seem a little more normal. Do we ever actually freaking do it? No. We fail every time. But that's okay. That's not the mission of this podcast, to succeed at that. But we try. And as always, I bring a guest to help me on this perilous quest. And my guest tonight, fate wants this to happen because we have changed this recording 3 times in the last couple months to make it work through our own personal issues and through weather divined by the universe, fate, gods, whatever the hell you believe in. We managed to make it work tonight. So please welcome my guest, Amira Nystrom, a survivor and thriver. And you may ask, that's all she is? Well, that's not just all she is, but that's the cataclysm of who she is, basically. I'll put it that way. And I'm going to let her tell her story because I am in no way qualified to tell somebody else's story like that. But how you doing tonight, Amira?
I'm so good. Yeah, I'm really happy we can make this happen.
Same. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a while, and it finally gets to happen, folks. So let's enjoy it. And the first question I ask everybody in this podcast always is, what brought you down this path to the spiritual life you live now?
I think for most people, it's like this intense life. Like life handed them some big challenge. And for me, it was definitely that. I survived a brain surgery that I had less than a 1% chance of fully recovering from. So it was kind of an experimental surgery. And I went through the stages with that of kind of recovering and being like a baby for a year. But after that, after I had fully recovered, like a year after the surgery, I don't know, nothing normal made sense anymore. Like it was like the normal job I had. I was working in a restaurant and I remember someone came up to me and they were so upset that I hadn't brought them an extra ranch or something to their table. And I just looked at them like, this isn't normal. This isn't real. This is a movie. And so after that, I just decided to move to Maui and create my own reality. And it's been quite the adventure. But I would say the most pivotal thing was that brain surgery. I was a completely different person before. I was like pretty high on my ego. I had very shallow dreams and goals and aspirations. And then when that happened, it just none of it made sense anymore. Like self-serving goals didn't make sense anymore. It was just go live a good life that actually feels good, that yeah, that matters. So yeah.
Well, I kind of want to back up here a little bit, and
Yeah.
because for the listeners at home who haven't read your profile on a website, what led to that brain surgery? Why was the reason you needed it to begin with?
Yeah. It was pretty random. I was just on a ski trip to Utah, and then on the way to like right when we were landing, there was that turbulence. And I've never been scared of flying. I've never had any issues, but all of a sudden it just felt like my brain was exploding. And so I was holding my head like this, trying to keep it from full, like some part of me actually believed my brain would explode. And so I was holding it together. And when I landed, I just thought, fuck, that was weird. But I have a 2-week trip here, so I'm gonna have to deal with that when I get home. But it was just very, very strange. And so as soon as I got home, I had a regular doctor that I would see, and for Crohn's. And so I told her, hey, I had this really weird thing happen with my head. And obviously she's like, well, maybe take some Tylenol, ice it, rest, are you stressed? and and I just told her, look, I know something's wrong. So I don't know what's wrong. I know, but this isn't normal. I was a massage therapist, so I knew what tension headaches could feel like, and I just knew something was up. So she decided to send me for some scans, and then after that, it was pretty brutal. They told me I had 2 weeks left to live, and that's if I don't bend over, no more sleeping, laying down. And basically the cyst was so big that they thought if I do anything where I move around move around in the wrong way, then it can just burst and then I would die instantly. So for the 2 weeks, I just kind of like I was just trying to make it day by day without popping the cyst. And then leading up to the surgery, I mean, it was less than 1% chance. So it was a pretty crazy thing. The odds were not telling me that I would come back. So yeah, that's where it started.
I mean, you could basically say the odds were not forever in your favor.
Yeah. It's like basically you're for sure dying, or you'll come back as a vegetable. So that's a pretty hard fate to make it through the day. I mean,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine after hearing that news and being able to cope with it. Like I would probably be a wreck. I would probably just I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what I would do. I mean, to hear you only have to hear basically like, oh, you're gonna die in a couple weeks. It's gonna happen. Like I'd be like, can I get a second, third, fourth opinion, please? Like, what the hell? Like, it's just insane. And then that percentage that you actually coming out of the surgery successfully is unheard of. That's
oh my god, miraculous. And I kept telling the surgeon, because after I got this diagnosis, I told my mom, I want a different neurosurgeon. This guy is so depressing. He said less than 1% chance. And I kept telling him, well, when I get out of this, then I'm going to go to visit Brazil and I'm going to go travel and do all this stuff. And he's like, no, I need you to fill out your living will and to be realistic. The surgery's never worked before. And I thought it was so weird that he had such a dry way of communicating. And then I talked to my mom and stepdad, and they said that that's actually a good thing, that neurosurgeons with a lot of, like, that's a part of their magic. That means that they're really good at their job when they just treat it very matter of fact. And so I just went with it. But yeah, pretty wild to face that less than 1% chance. When I first found out, I just went home and I ate a bowl of cereal, and the cereal had gotten so soggy and I was just spacing out, staring at a wall. And my roommate came home and he's like, you look a little weird. I was like, yeah, I might. So I've got 2 weeks left to live. And he's like, shut up. Because I would normally prank people all the time. So I thought it was just, he thought I was just messing with him. We would scare each other. But yeah, I was like, no, I have 2 weeks left to live. And he's like, no way. And I think it took all of us, like, it just kind of hit as a shock because I was 21. And so it's just not something that you think about at that age facing. But yeah, it was wild.
So, all right. So let's fast forward a little bit.
Mhm.
So you come out of the surgery successful against the odds.
Mhm.
And what did you start doing after it once you were fully recovered?
Once I fully recovered, so it took me about a year when I was in partially a little bit vegetable like. My family called me a puppy. They had to stop by and walk me, feed me, and I started picking up a job, but I kind of just worked an hour here and there just to, be social. But I just wasn't fully, it didn't feel like I was a normal human anymore. I didn't have the attachments that most people do, like my mom and family talking to me. I just didn't feel connected in the way that they did. Like, they're like, do you want to talk to grandma? And I was like, it's just a person. Like, what is this attachment that, it was so strange to me that I just had attachments and I felt nothing towards them. So as soon as I recovered, I had spent, so a little interesting. So before the surgery, I had made a bunch of journals for Amira, in case you forget who you are. This is what you like to do. This is where you go to the gym. This is where you work. These are some inside jokes if you get desperate and need to remind people that you're still you. But I made videos and journals and things for afterwards. And so I tried to keep up a little bit once I got out of the surgery with my old life. And then after a year, I had just had it. I couldn't remember anything anyone was talking about. I would run into random people on the street, and one of them said, "Doesn't that guy remind you of our college professor?" And I was just looking at him like, what? I went to college? Like, I just didn't. And some grandma was speaking Swedish, and I just could not. I was like, what is happening? I don't speak Swedish. So I'd lost a lot of the memories. But what I found after the surgery, I posted on Facebook and said, ask me to do anything and I'll do it. And someone responded and just told me to come to Maui for a little while and just have fun, learn to surf, whatever. And so I did that and then kind of rebuilt myself on the island.
Well, okay, one, miraculous, but two,
Yeah.
never post to Facebook, tell me to do anything and I'll do it. That's just asking for trouble. Come on now.
I was 21. I didn't know. I mean, now I would probably never do that. But all of the invites that I had seen on there were very innocent. It was, go travel here, come over here, visit this, do that. And And so I went to Maui, and I stayed with two friends of mine, and they had this homeless guy living right outside that was sleeping in the car in their parking lot, and he was annoying them so much. And they were like, oh, we're going to have to ask him to leave. And I thought he had a good vibe. So I went and talked to him, and I said, hey, like, what are you up to today? And he's like, oh, I'm just gonna head to a buddy's house and then another buddy's house, and I'm just gonna, live, breathe, live with the flow, do the things. And he kind of just spoke in riddles. It barely made sense, but it was so interesting to me that I decided to join him for the road trip for the day, and then that became my best friend on the island. So yeah, I just kind of reinvented, everything restarted when I moved to Maui, and I decided to just let myself be whoever I wanted to be instead of stressing or worrying about who I can't remember that I was. Because also, for the first 3 years after the surgery, I was pretty convinced that I was a soul that had snuck in during the surgery and hijacked this body. I didn't, every reference that everyone had towards this Amira, it just didn't register for me. So I just assumed, I was like, I just stole this body during the surgery. I just took over.
I mean, honestly, that technically, this is actually where it kind of goes into the paranormal a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that could technically happened. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really no way of knowing. I mean, it could have happened. I mean, because if there's that low a chance of surviving the surgery, your spirit could have technically departed and something else could have came in. And I mean, I'm not saying like I'm not saying like, oh, an evil spirit came in, but it could have been it could have been a spirit looking for a place to go, or
Yeah.
reincarnation. I personally believe reincarnation is real, so it could have been a reincarnated spirit looking for a place to go. And I mean, an open vessel like that might honestly have been why you survived surgery.
Yeah, I was convinced for 3 years I had no connection to this Amira girl. So I just thought, I'm for sure I've stolen this body and I've hijacked it, but it would be too awkward for me to tell people that. So I'll just play along whenever I'll come to Christmas, I'll celebrate the birthdays, but I just I didn't feel connected to it at all. After a few years, I started to remember things. I would go to places like walk down my childhood street in Sweden, and it was like a flash flooding experience of memories just came through. And all of a sudden, I was looking around, and I told my mom and grandma, I was like, wait, we used to live here. And then they were just shocked because they had given up on, they're like, no way she'll ever remember anything. But I was like, we used to live here. We lived up there. Our neighbor lived there. We used to go sledding down that hill, and it just kind of flooded my system. Like I had to go to different places, touch different things, hug people. And then all of a sudden it was just flash flooding. And so I just started speaking Swedish, and then I realized, okay, I did not steal this body. But it was definitely what I believed for years, because when I was going through the actual surgery process, I had a pretty strange, it's not normal. I had a very interesting experience where I felt at peace going into it, and I thought, it's fine. I've lived a good life. Like it's not a problem. And then as they're wheeling me off, I just felt this deep desire to keep living. And so when that happened, I went into a very strange place. I mean, I guess this is paranormal activity, so I can be open about it.
Be as open as you like, please.
Yeah, so I went into what seemed like almost a panel of spirits. Like it looked like kind of like set up like a courtroom. So 5 main energies of different beings. And then I just begged them to go back. It was like all white room, and then these beings that felt frozen and inaccessible, like they were just shut off. But for some reason, I knew I was supposed to beg them to go back, and so I did. And I just said, please, I just want to go back for my people. Like, I don't want them to go through the process of having lost their sister, their brother, their this, their that, their friend. I just think this is going to be such a like dark experience for the people closest to me. And while my desires were just for myself, these spirits weren't responding. And then as I started to make my goals and dreams bigger, and I said, if you send me back, you can plug in anything. You can tell me to do anything. If there's any loved ones you guys have lost, that if I go back and I can show up for them, you can just plug me in like a computer. I will do anything for anyone. And then they started to respond. Like it felt like their energies were moving. So in my head, I was like, okay, progress. Like this is helping. And I kept pleading and hoping that it would just, that they would keep, or that they would respond and give me that space to go back. So I just kept continuing. I was like, plug in any messages, anything. I will be a vessel for anything that needs to be done. Any loved ones, anything that you guys need, I will do. Literally, like, I just want to go back and serve. And then they started responding. And it felt like these codes coming in very different patterns, like little circular codes. It felt like they were just flying towards my being and getting received. And so these codes just kind of kept coming. And the more I just kept pleading more and more, and the more selfless the dreams got, the faster these codes came in. And it just felt like I was being plugged into like a computer, and eventually woke up. So it was, it was a pretty wild experience to.
Okay. Now I am freaking intrigued as hell. Because you, to put it in, well, basically you use the same terminology you were using. You basically went back to the source code.
Yeah.
And I gotta ask this though. Is there any recollection you have of what these creatures look like?
They were bigger than me. But honestly, they just were patterns. Like they weren't
Like looking at computer, basically like looking at computer coding in a way.
Yeah, it was coding basically, and it was just these energies of 5 frozen figures. It wasn't like human faces, and it wasn't that they spoke. And even when I was pleading and begging, it wasn't that I was like yelling and talking with my mouth. It was this energy of like, my energy is just opening and begging to go back, and they could feel it. And so it was, and I kind of got obsessed with understanding the missions that they had plugged in for a while after that. So when I got to Maui, I went to live in the jungle, and I kept feeling called to people that had lost someone close to them. And Yeah, it was wild. I would see the people that had passed in their space. Um, and I would ask questions, but I found that's interesting. I felt more connected to the energy around people than I felt to the person in front of me. So I found it hard to stay focused on like the physical human in front of me because there was so much speaking in the background that wanted to come through. And so I made it a mission for the next few years to try to serve all those missions. And when someone would show up, and I would just feel called to be close to them, and pretty quickly I would say, like, there's this guy in your field. I don't, like, I don't know what it's about. And because I never truly understood, this is what channeling is so confusing to me, because channels will take this energy information and they'll put it into words, and I couldn't put it into words. And so I thought, I can't channel. I can't do this, communicate with the dead people thing, because it's not, for me, all I feel is an energy, and I can kind of describe the feeling that I would feel, but I wouldn't be able to put it into words. And most people who are trying to reach their past loved ones, they're looking for a message, and I didn't have the message.
Well,
So
that's the thing. Well, okay. Well, one, I gotta say this before I forget. Say it. Your experience basically reminds me of the song "The White Room" by Cream.
oh, I haven't heard it. But now I'll listen.
Oh, you've heard it.
Okay.
You've heard it. You just don't realize you've heard it. Because it references a white room. It references tigers and jungles. Like, it kind of sounds like your experience 100. It's almost trippy that it sounds like your experience 100%. So, I mean, I don't think I know Maui doesn't have tigers per se, but still, it's similar. It's very similar. But see, that's the thing. You weren't, at least in my mind, you weren't sent back to be able to give these people. You weren't sent back to be a medium or a psychic or channeler. You weren't
No.
sent back. You weren't sent back to give these people direct messages. You were
Mm-mm.
just sent. You were just sent back to let them know that their loved ones are still
They're there.
there
Yeah.
and watching over them.
Yeah. And
Wh-
I would try to help them bridge the link. When I would notice, like, sometimes it was often that the people I would talk to said, I can't reach this person. My sister passed, and I can't reach her, and she probably still hates me. And I would feel the energy of that sister, and I was like, oh, she's right there. She's right there. Just go to the beach and just open to it, because she's right there, and I don't have anything else to tell you, but that's just, it's and that she doesn't hate you, because I can't feel that. But but yeah, I don't think I was sent back to give messages, but it was frustrating because every single person was like, if you can
oh,
feel them, tell me more, tell me what they're doing, tell me. It's like, I can't, I don't have
I
that.
mean, that's just human nature. That humans always want more than they
Yeah, they're
can
like, more,
get.
more, more, more.
It's our we are basically guinea pigs in our cages waiting to be fed, and we always want more food. That's just the way
Yeah.
being a human is in this world, and it's we never can be satisfied with the little bit we get. Well, most of
Yeah.
us can't, at least. I'm not gonna say everybody. Most of us can't.
I
I
would
mean,
say, yeah,
it
most
took
people.
it took me a long time of exploring my spiritual side through this show, especially, that I learned to not always want more. I learned to be happy sometimes with what you have and live
Mm.
with it. You live with it because that's nothing else you could do. Like, you gotta learn to live with things, and then you're gonna be a happier person. But so, I mean, yeah, but these people should be happy because you're giving them that hope, that happiness that their loved ones are still watching over them and that they're still
Yeah.
there. Which they should take that and be like, "Oh, thank you," instead of being like, "Well, why can't you talk to them?" Like, it's
Yeah.
just.
I think
It's
the
kind of,
initial was excitement and you know, when they could feel that they were there was always like an emotional breakthrough where tears would get released and they would um be there, but then the next conversation was, hey, if you're tapped in, can you ask my dad where he put this thing? And I'm just like, this, no, I can't, I don't know. And
well,
but yeah.
see, that's when you should actually find a medium or psychic, team up with them, and be like,
Yeah.
I can't, but have you met? And then just, I mean, get a part of what they make off it, whatever. I mean, business ideas, business ideas. That's what I do. I'm a salesman by trade, so that's what I do. But it's, I mean, it's miraculous. And so let me kind of, I guess the next question I'd want to ask is, what life lessons have you learned since you've been experiencing this new life? Like, what lessons has it taught you as a human being?
um to hmm, to start over on Maui and just let myself be was a pretty crazy thing for me to do. It
I mean, I
definitely.
couldn't. I'm gonna say I can't. I just want to say like I couldn't imagine just moving somewhere I'd never lived before, and I have no family or friends, and just starting new. I couldn't
Find a
imagine that.
random guy that lives in his car and just be like, "Yeah,
Like,
you're my best friend." And
that that sounds like a Rick and Morty episode, honestly. But
yeah, it's such a character too. I think that the biggest life lesson that I got from it is because most people are living inside a program or framework that they were kind of born into. They were taught all the lessons along the way, and then they just became a product of their environment. And I guess I was that too. And when I came back from the brain surgery, I didn't have any of the social programming of who I'm supposed to be. Like, I think everyone stresses like crazy about who they're supposed to be. They're like, fuck, am I being who I'm supposed to be? And it's just this super stressful experience inside people's bodies. And I guess when I didn't have that, there was nothing going on in my head for years. I didn't have an internal critic. I didn't have, and I didn't even know I didn't have one until um, I dated somebody that was drowning in social anxiety. And he's like, we're at breakfast and he's just afterwards having a meltdown. He's like, did you see the way this person looked at me? Like, he hates me. And I just was so confused. It was like, wait, I thought we were just eating waffles together. Like, what do you mean? And I just could not understand that there was
see,
a voice inside that was just attacking themselves, you know?
mhm.
And so the biggest freedom that I got from all this is changing my framework. Having it forced on me just made me realize like I can do anything and I can pick what life I want to live and I can pick what friends. We all kind of believe in limits and we just look around at our environment and think, oh, that's the max that I can get to. Like maybe I'll get a promotion at this job that I hate and that's my max. And I guess from my experience, I don't know. I don't think there's a max to anything. I'm just constantly shooting for the stars in everything. And um, my stars, you know, it's
Well,
different for everyone. But I think it's
I mean,
just, yeah, giving me the freedom to just choose how I want to live.
which is glorious in its own way. I mean, I know, and I've known plenty of people in my life with social anxiety because basically everybody has it to some degree. And
Yeah,
well, I mean, except for me, I was born without it. I don't give a fuck what people. I never give a fuck what people think of me outside of
that is a
myself.
nice freedom. Yeah.
And like I was born that way. It's just though I've always been that way. My parents used to yell at me and be like, "Don't you care what people think?" And I'd be like, "No," but and it's I've always been that way, and it's just it's something I was born with. But it's just, I mean, So I trust me, I know what it's like to have freedom from that. But I've known so many people in my life to this day who have that. And I mean, my mother's a perfect example. She has always worried about what other people think of her. And I'm just like, why? Why? I'm like, they're
Yeah.
looking at you. Big fucking deal. Let it go. Like, who cares? Like, let them look. I'd wave. Like, I'd wave and be like, hi. Like, it just doesn't make a difference. Like, look at me all you fucking want. You're not gonna change my attitude. You're not gonna, because people like that who judge the people in public are just, they're trying to get a rise out of you. They're trying
Yeah.
to, they're miserable and they're trying to make you miserable. That's all they're trying to. I mean, yeah, if you guys would hang off your face, maybe they're looking at that. But other than that, like, it's just they're trying to make you miserable. And no, I'm not. Nobody should let anybody else on this earth make them that miserable just by being around them. Like, it's just no. That's
Yeah.
that's exactly why I asked this question, because that's a perfect life lesson to learn. I mean, it kind of sucks you had to go through a hard brain surgery like that to get to that point, but it sucks horribly. But it's it's where you're meant to go. Because I mean, I myself am a huge believer in fate, a huge believer in karma, and that the universe has a plan for us. I don't like to think there's any deity out there, but
Yeah.
the universe has a plan for us. I like to think, and I think what you saw in the White Room was basically, you saw the universe, or at least its representatives. You saw the
Mhm.
source code. You
Yeah,
saw
the
the source code.
representatives.
You saw the representatives of the universe. That I think that really is the closest thing we have to an actual afterlife. I mean, the ancient Egyptians had this whole idea of you get judged when you die, and
Yeah.
that passed over to Christianity, of course, and every other religion. But I think you saw the actual version of that. Like, you saw like the kind of actual version of that might actually exist. Because we're not going to be pleading to some alligator god like they believe, Sobek, but or we're not going to be pleading at the pearly gates of St. Peter. Like, it's not the way life works. We're going to be, if anything, talking to the universe, talking to a source code. I mean, because if if the universe is everything planned, then the universe is basically a giant computer in a way, and it's got its own code. It's got its own source code that no one can read. Well, okay, maybe some can. I've met psychics, I've met mediums that can kind of predict what the universe wants to happen. So maybe they can read the code in their own special way. But
Mm.
the universe is a source code. I can 100% believe that. We wouldn't have words to put. We wouldn't have that term to put that in even until, God, 20 years ago, maybe 30, maybe 30, when computers first started becoming a thing and people made that lingo up for coding computers. But yeah, I think you met the source code of the universe, and they gave you and you wanted to go back, so they gave you a purpose, and they gave you the purpose they
Yeah.
thought probably that you're supposed to have, probably the purpose you're supposed to have eventually. You probably would have found it out. You probably would have had a spiritual awakening of your own eventually if this didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I think it just kind of got rushed, and they're like, all right, she wants to go back. Let's start this earlier so she can go back and serve a purpose to us. And then they hit Control Delete and they pushed you back. So I mean, in my opinion, that's just the way it happened, kind of. And that's what I gather from this. Well, the story of your life, basically.
And it
That's why.
feels
That's
like
why.
such a gift too. It's like this like it feels, if we can get a cheat sheet to life, which is what I believe that brain surgery was. I don't know what I was doing before, working 5 jobs, running around trying to be Miss Popular, and then I just came out of the surgery and I just didn't care about anything except for creating my own, just enjoying myself. It was so different. Enjoying myself for the first maybe mm, like 9 months. And then I felt flooded and moved into the jungle and decided to kind of mm, open up to what was happening. I just felt like I needed to listen. And then I tried to deconstruct that thing that happened and what I was seeing. And yeah, but it was wild. For me, it feels like the biggest gift because, like you said, it's just rushing the purpose. I may have gotten there eventually, but they're just like, this is what you're supposed to do. And I
I
feel
mean,
like I'm still getting those messages every year or so. There's some kind of message that says, go this way, and I'm so grateful for that communication line. And I don't think that people need to have brain surgery to have that communication line. I think you just go out. I like that you call it the universe. That's what I do too. But whatever you want to call it, God's angels, spirit guides, universe, whatever, I feel like we can all go somewhere in nature and just say, tell me what's next. And there is a response, and especially when you get more and more selfless and clear in where you want to go, then in my experience, there's something talks back.
I mean, I 100% believe you're right. The only, I guess, criticism I would have towards that is I think the universe wants you to be at a certain point in life before they're willing to unveil your purpose. Because I mean, yes, this podcast is my purpose to some degree, but I think there's also something bigger, and I am not rushing it. It's when the universe wants to show it to me, they'll show it to me. But until then, I can't crack the source code. I can't hack it, and I'm not going to try, because then that's just going to upset the balance of what is supposed to happen. I mean, I feel like I said, I feel like your surgery kind of put them in a point where it put the universe in a point where it's like, all right, we either going to give her her purpose now and she makes it, or we don't give her her purpose and she's not going to have a reason to make it, and she's not going to make it. So they made a split second. They made basically a split second decision, whatever you want to call it. And they just said, all right, it's time. But to most people, that doesn't happen because there's not extreme circumstances where we need it to happen just at that moment. And we may find, we all have, every human being on this earth, I'm a huge believer in this, every human being on this earth has abilities of some kind or shape or form. When you unlock them, it could be when you're a kid, it could be when you're in your 20s, it could be when you're an old motherfucker that's in their 70s, 80s. Like, who knows? You don't know when you're going to unlock these things. I mean, some people live their whole life. I've met people who didn't realize they were psychics, didn't realize they're mediums until they were in their 60s, 70s, because they just were so busy with life that it never happened. And I mean, trust me, I live a busy life too, so I get it. I 100% get it. I don't have time for shit, but I am so behind editing podcasts. It's a weekly struggle. But I don't have time for shit. But and I got a third kid in the way in about 3 weeks, so there's not time for.
Congrats.
Thank you, but there's not time for shit. Like, I have to pretty much schedule out my day 100% every day of my life just to figure out what the hell, and then it never goes to schedule because that's just the way life goes. But so, I mean, the point of all this is, yes, we all have abilities to some degree. When we unlock them, that's up to the universe. And for a lot of people, it's not until their kids are fully grown and they're not really families anymore. They're still families, but they're not in your family to the point where you need to pay attention 24/7. That's when a lot of people unlock their abilities, because it's just either you're born with it and you go with it from childhood, or you unlock it later in life when you're not as jam-packed as you are at the beginning of your life. And that's been my experience with over 250 plus interviews in this show, maybe close to 300 now. I honestly lost freaking count. I don't know. I gotta look that up. But and I have so many episodes that haven't been released yet. I couldn't actually get an accurate count if I wanted to, really. But I could, but it'd be a lot of work, and I don't want to do that. But I mean, that's basically the bottom line. I mean, everybody's gonna unlock their abilities when it's their time. That's the message in all this. And the fact you unlocked yours when you did, incredible. The fact you went to Maui. See, I've wanted to live in Hawaii since I watched this show called American Jungle like 10 years ago. It was a reality show about people in Hawaii living off the land and hunting in the jungle, like to get like wild boar like every week and stuff. Like, it was a freaking awesome show, and it ended after one season because fuck History Channel. But it ended after one season, and I was pissed. I'm like, oh, it was such a good show. Like, and they talked about the night marchers and all this other cool Hawaiian paranormal stuff. So.
The myths and legends of Hawaii are so magical. Oh my gosh!
Like any ancient culture, they are especially, I mean, Hawaii's special because they never were really too touched by invaders, foreigners.
Yeah.
They always were kind of by themselves for a long time, and their legends held very true for a long time to them. So it's
And still, their beliefs are still
oh yeah,
so active and alive. Like we still, look towards the volcano to see if the night marchers are there when we're out at night. And like when people pass away, you go out in the ocean and spread the ashes. And it's just such a ceremonial, spiritual place that, yeah, it's magic. It was perfect for that time in my life for sure.
and Audrey, okay, well, I have you actually ever had an experience with the night marchers where you've heard them or seen them?
Um, there is some spooky experiences. I can't say that I've seen night marchers, but being on the island, there's certain places that you're not supposed to go to after 6 o'clock. So when the sun sets, the belief is that if it's a spiritual ground, like the valley or like one of the sacred places, then that the spirits come out. So in Iao Valley, which is this beautiful valley, but it's had so much death happen there. And it's a belief that at 6 o'clock, the spirits, like the leaves, turn into spirits and spooky things just happen. And if you go off the trails in Iao, then you will, unless it's a blessed trail, then yeah, spooky things have definitely happened. I think the weirdest one for us was when we were out on this path where I don't think we were supposed to be really. And one of my friends brought his girlfriend, but she's not so adventurous. So she decided she wanted to wait by herself, um, like outside of this cave we were exploring. And then she screamed so loud. So we came running back thinking something horrible happened. And she just told us that she felt a hand on her shoulder and it just shook her. Um, and then it just kept yelling at her to leave. And it's a spooky place where then as we're hiking back, we all kind of felt this energy of leave, we're not supposed to be here. So it's very trippy. Some of these places in Maui are very, very trippy. And I think that was when I had first moved there. So I just didn't care or believe in it completely. And then when I started to really understand and hear these stories of what's happened in these places when you break these kind of rules, I just went full respect mode. It's like I will never be here after 6 o'clock, and I will do whatever it takes. I will do the prayers before I enter. I will bring things. I won't take the fruit. Like I will just whatever needs to happen. I want to live in respect for the island. But yeah, I didn't start that way. I don't think anyone does when they get there. We just get there and we're like, oh, this is like a, water park. And then we're like, no, the grounds are
Yeah.
talking to you in a different way here.
See, okay, before I get to what I gotta say, evening Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you for watching as always. And C4 says it reminds him of Princess. I'm gonna butcher this, but Princess Mononoke. Actually, I made it that right. Which is I still have to watch that. I haven't seen that anime yet, but I don't know the storyline. I don't know your reference there, buddy. But I'm sure you're right. I haven't seen it yet, but and honestly, it might be based on that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Japanese know plenty about Hawaii, but um, I mean, and I will say it's probably a good thing you haven't seen the Night Marchers because from everything I've heard, once you see them, you're not seeing much longer after that.
Yeah,
So,
nothing good happens.
you join them if you see them from all the legends I've heard. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think you want to join them unless you're already passed away. I don't think you want to join them. So,
Mm-mm.
But
I think when we would see shadows just coming down the volcano, we're like, okay, we're out of here. Just let's
yeah,
go. Let's
and,
because I don't know. And I mean it could be the eyes and mind just playing tricks, but that
I doubt
island, it definitely it has so much power and to
exactly.
live there you have to have so much respect for everything or weird things happen. Like very
I
weird.
mean, yeah, I mean, we're talking about an ancient land where
Yeah.
these people believe so strongly in everything for millennia, and why? I mean, tulpas exist. You believe in something long enough, eventually it's going to come true to some degree. So,
Mm.
especially if enough people believe in it. So, and I mean, from legend tells us, from what I've learned, especially from that show I watched, American Jungle, they actually had a huge part of it on one episode dedicated to the Night Marchers, and that's where I first learned about this
Wow.
phenomenon, this event. And they said you hear the drums, and once you hear the drums,
Yeah.
you get out of the
Run.
jungle. You
Yeah.
get you run, you get out of the jungle before they see you, before you see them.
Yeah.
And if you happen to not get out in time and they're coming down, you better close your eyes and not look at them, because
Mhm.
otherwise you're not coming back. But so I mean that's what I know of the Lord of the Night Marchers. Other than that, there's, at least from my understanding, very little to know, because it's a spirit phenomenon, which they're all the same. I mean, you can see the same. You can see the same thing at hear the same thing even at Gettysburg and down Virginia, or you can see the same thing at a lot in the Old West, at places in America. Like, I mean, there's a lot of places in the world you could see spirits that are very active in groups. But
Mm.
the Night Marchers are a special case because they're not exactly spirits. No one really knows what they are. Like, they're kind of like just this ancient. They might be spirits even. They might be ancient spirits because they've been around forever. The Night
Mhm.
Marchers have been a Hawaii legend forever. So, I mean, yeah. And to all those idiots who take rocks from the volcanoes in Hawaii and then go home with it and realize a couple weeks later, oh, I'm cursed. Yeah, you damn straight you are. Fucking stop touching shit you didn't touch. Bad kid.
We went to go ask the post office in Hawaii about this because um well, we were at the post office and they were talking about how many rocks they get sent back.
Oh, I've
I think it's so funny that because people think that they can just bring these, stones home, lava rocks, and just use them as decorations. But what they don't realize is that in Hawaii, the belief is that when your soul pass or when you die, your soul goes into the stones. And so when you're taking stones with you, that you're actually taking spirits off the island and they don't want to leave. And
hmm
so the only way to like free yourself of that is to send the rocks back. So the post office will just get rocks mailed back.
Yep.
But it's
I've
so
heard
funny
about
to me.
that. I've 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 heard about that on documentaries and on other podcasts. I've heard like tell that of people that have experienced this and actually have sent things back. I mean, it's kind of similar to Robert the Doll. Like, you take pictures of him and you're cursed. Like, it's and people, and if you go to if you look at pictures of the museum and that Robert the Doll is in Key West, Florida, there are so many postcards on the wall of people apologizing for taking pictures of Robert. It's funny. It's funny and also kind of scary that a doll has that much power.
Yeah.
And I mean, Robert, I fully believe in you. I would not fuck with you ever. I don't fuck with no haunted dolls. No, no. But I swear to God, there's a freaking doll that my grandmother gave to my child that sits in the corner of our living room. And I swear to God, it's
Mhm.
like that. It's like that thing moves some nights. I don't fucking know what it is, but it's creepy as shit. And oh, thank you, Nocturnal Frequency, Leonard Nimoy. I will take that as a fucking compliment. I love Leonard Nimoy, and I guess okay. I guess I kind of hear it. That deep voice has many qualities that people find enjoyable. But enough of my married life. But so yeah, I mean it's. I guess. Well, actually, we're getting close to the end here. But before we end it, I gotta ask. So If you were asked by the world, say, to give everybody in the world one piece of advice that they should really, really know based on what you learned in life, what would that advice be? I know this is a
Yeah.
fucked up hard question, but it's
No, I
what
love it. I think just dream bigger is the biggest thing that I've studied the mind so much now, and I became a hypnotist, and it's became this beautiful thing where I help people access their bigger vision and then communicate from that vision to the part of themselves that's here now or confused or stressed or whatever, and just trying to help people unlock that. But even without a hypnotist and without, I mean, wherever you are in the world, I guess I would just say fucking dream bigger. Don't just go with what's automatic. Like, really put it on paper, put it on a vision board, just put your vision and your dreams into something that you can, yeah, connect to, and just go bigger. Whatever you're dreaming right now, just think a little bit bigger. Like, when you have that, then what do you want? And then what do you want? And because I believe that it's all about attuning and just choosing, yeah, just choosing what you want and then attuning yourself to believe that you can create that. I mean, who would have thought you'd create, a paranormal activity podcast? Like, that's so wild. That's so not the norm, and it's just something that you felt called to do. And who knows where it leads to. But yeah, for anyone listening, I'd say just dream bigger.
Well, it's funny you say that because I mean, yeah, I mean, I started on another podcast that was a pop culture thing, and
Mm,
they told me like you have a voice. I mean, kind of like nocturnal frequency just did, but not in that exactly that way. But they're like, you have a voice. You have things to say. You need to start your own podcast. Do
yeah.
something you love, and I listened to at that time. I had more time to do this, so I listened to a lot of paranormal podcasts at that time because paranormal podcasts are not that regular. Trust me, there's a lot of them out there. I have a lot of fucking competition, but
Oh, really?
well, they're not competition. I'm in a network of paranormal podcasters. But it's all brotherly love for the most part. But well, except for a few assholes. But it's basically, I mean, it's not that unusual, and it was what I was drawn to. I mean, and 250 plus episodes later, it's obviously I was right because and it's not even about my beliefs. It's not about me. My beliefs change based on this show every fucking month. Like, come on. I learn new things every month in this show, and I change my beliefs to fit those.
Mm.
But it's about the guest. I've been told, and I fully believe, it is my mission to get other people's voices out there and spread the voices of other people, so that everybody can get these opinions, can get this knowledge that they need to get in order to survive in life. And
Mm.
that's the point of the show. It's not about me. It's by far not about me. I try to talk as minimal as possible on this show because I don't want people thinking it's about me. If I started my own podcast about things about me, it would be boring as fuck and nobody would listen. I know this. I know this. So, I mean, my life is not that interesting. Well, until lately, but it's not that interesting. But and yes, people, listen to the lesson she has taught you because she's right. Go big or go home. That old saying is so true. It's one of the truest sayings in this world. Go. Why settle for mediocrity? Go big.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
just don't hang out in the automatic. Like, question the automatic. Like, something so crazy is that people will take so much longer to write down the groceries that they want to buy than their dreams. And it's just like you're just setting sail for, I mean, you can end up anywhere. It's wild. Like, the temporary things that get so much of your attention or anyone's attention. I just think we owe it to ourselves to check in regularly and just ask, where am I supposed to be going, and also where do I want to go? What feels exciting? What do I feel called towards?
Well, I will say, as a Instacart driver, yes, people put thought into their groceries past the point where I'm shopping for them. I will be done shopping for someone and they'll add like 5 things to their list. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But so yeah, it's 100% true. People put more thought into their freaking groceries than anything, and it's freaking disturbing. I I don't think I ever have made a list for grocery shop. Okay, that's not true. But if I make a list for grocery shopping, it's not for everything. It's for what I need for recipes or some shit.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm freaking putting everything on a list. I'll if I forget something, I forget something. It's whatever. I'll go back to the store next day. It's not a big deal. But you're right. People need to start focusing on their dreams more. And I mean, in this day and age, it's not easy because everybody's
I
trying to
know.
survive. Everybody's trying to survive with how bad the cost of everything is everywhere. So
Yeah.
people are people are trying to survive these days, and I 100% get that, folks. Don't ever think I don't. Trust me, I
Yeah.
get that. I've I've had negative bank accounts for weeks at a time waiting for my next paycheck. So I get
Mhm.
it. But focus on your dreams too. Don't let them go to the wayside and forgotten about. Focus on your dreams, and that right there is a good place to end this. So I will end it there. But Amir, if people want to see more of what you're doing or learn from you more or just see you, because I mean, come on. Where can they find you?
I think the best place is Instagram. My Instagram is Traveler of Love. Yeah, I think that would be the best portal.
Well, there you go, folks. And of course, I'll post that link in the podcast description because that way you guys can go follow Amira and see what other lessons she has to teach us. Because I think she could teach us a lot. I mean, the source code has made it happen, so might as well take advantage of it. Because if you're stuck in the matrix, source code will help you. But
Mhm.
you all know where to find me if you fucking don't. Motherfucking shame! But it's in the outro. Listeners, listen and find out. If you're watching, then just follow me wherever you're watching. Kind of like Nocturnal Frequency Radio just did. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the follow. But until next, I shall be back to not tomorrow because tomorrow's Halloween. Have a safe one, everybody. But and don't go doing stupid shit. But I will not be back tomorrow because I have kids and Halloween is for kids. So I will not be back tomorrow, but I will be back on Saturday morning with another weekend edition interview for you guys. So yay! Until then, I want to thank Amir for coming on. It's been an amazing episode, and I really told folks that before it started that I didn't know we'd make it an hour. Well, do I fucking know? But because it happened and it was a great episode, so yay! I can't complain. I actually enjoyed the shit out of this. So, but come back next time, folks, and learn more about the paranormal world. Till then, have a good night. I'm on 4 hours sleep. I need to go to fucking bed. So, have a good night, everybody.
Listen, here's the truth. If it's not something you love to do, automation is mandatory. You didn't start your podcast to spend hours editing clips. You started it to create, connect, and grow your audience. But here's the problem. Every other platform works with video podcasts, and manual editing eats up your most valuable asset, your time. That's where Opus Clip changes everything. Upload your video, and Opus Clip will automatically find the gold nugget moments, auto clip the captions for the best parts, perfect for TikTok, Reels, and Shorts. 1 hour long episode becomes 10, 20, even 30 viral ready clips in minutes. The tool even predicts each clip's viral potential so you know exactly what to post. No more tenuous editing, no more wasted hours, just you staying in the place that you love to be, creating content that matters. Head to podnationopus.com for your free trial and get back to doing what you do best. Stop editing and start creating now.
You can find me on Facebook as Jeremy Bryant, or you can find me as Uncensored, Unapologetic, and Untamed UQ Podcast Collective Facebook group. You can find me on Twitter and the Instagram as @JugglerBastard, or should I say X now. And you can find me on TikTok as @JugglerBastard Podcast. You can also find me on YouTube as Paranormal the New Normal. And you can also find me streaming on YouTube as Blind Knowledge Network, because all knowledge is blind until they admit Bigfoot exists.